Growing up in a wealthy family of doctors and industrialists, Charles Darwin was considered a very ordinary boy by his father. He was obsessed with collecting beetles and conducting chemistry experiments in a garden shed with his brother, a hobby that earned him the nickname Gas from his schoolmates. He was actually a medical school dropout. He couldn't stand the sight of blood and was horrified by the brutal surgeries of the 1820s, which were performed without any anesthesia. To please his father, he pivotally decided to study to become a country priest instead, which at the time was a common career for men who just wanted to spend their days observing nature. When the 22-year-old Darwin was invited to join the HMS Beagle as a naturalist, his father initially refused to let him go, calling it a waste of time. It was only after his uncle intervened that Charles was allowed to set sail. Darwin spent much of the 5-year journey being violently seasick. He spent as much time as possible on land, exploring the jungles of Brazil and the Andes Mountains. While he is famous for studying the Galapagos finches, he didn't actually have a eureka moment there. In fact, he was so disorganized that he failed to label which islands many of his bird specimens came from. It was only years later, back in England, that he realized their significance. As a member of the Glutton Club at Cambridge, he made it his mission to eat strange flesh. During his travels, he snacked on everything from pumas, which he said tasted like veal, to armadillos, which he thought like duck, and even 20-pound giant tortoises. Behind his scientific exterior, he was also a man of intense anxiety. He was so worried about how his theory of evolution would be received by the religious public and his own devout wife Emma, that he kept his ideas hidden in a drawer for 20 years. He only rushed to publish On the Origin of Species after he received a letter from another scientist, Alfred Russel Wallace, who had independently come up with the exact same idea. Despite his world-shaking theories, he lived a quiet, routine life at Down House, spending his mornings walking a gravel path he called his thinking path. When he passed away in 1882, the man who had challenged the literal truth of the Bible was buried in Westminster Abbey, right next to Sir Isaac Newton.